Ryan Garcia's drug test failure prompted Gervonta "Tank" Davis to strike out at Eddie Hearn on social media. Eddie Hearn didn't keep quiet and wrote Tank a humorous reply. Hearn also confronted Tank during a recent interview, addressing their altercation on social media.
Me? Really? I mean, the guy's an idiot, to be honest. I've already messaged him. What sort of I mean, do you know one thing about Gervonta Davis? I mean, he really talks some shit. But why'd you delete?
Hearn also criticized Tank for removing his tweets, saying that Tank is unable to accept accountability for his remarks on social media.
Can you not stand by what you say? So you want to come out and you say, yeah, Eddie Hearn's a dirty guy for doing this. It's like, what the f*** are you talking about?
This conflict between Gervonta and Hearn, given that the two had never before clashed, is intriguing. However, what did Hearn say about Garcia failing his drug test? Stay in to learn more in today's film, Tank. Davis has shown support for Ryan Garcia following King's amazing triumph against Devin Haney, when it became known that Garcia had failed his drug test and had been found guilty of using steroids during the fight. Davis called attention to the referee's bias and favoritism toward Devin. He also expressed his support for Garcia, believing that he had been set up by Devin and his team. Unexpectedly, Tank blamed Eddie Hearn, Devin's promoter, for Garcia's conviction. Davis believes that Hearn and the Haney camp were using Garcia as payback for their brutal defeat last month. In case you missed it, when V tested Garcia twice, one day before and one day after his victory over Devin Haney last month, the results showed that Garcia tested positive for ostarine. Davis defended Garcia, accusing the young boxer of being set up, and he attacked Hearn on social media, forcing the promoter to confront Davis' private messages. "You chatted a little bit," Hearn wrote, following the message's publication. The feud between Hearn and Davis escalated publicly when Hearn tweeted about a single clown. Davis responded, "You know what you are, nah, and you don't know me either, the S they fill your head with." Hearn replied, "I know what the facts are and what you did before I read through all that bullshit." T. Davis stated via X, "I don't need your false grin to deceive me. I know what you are and what you do. You're a serpent in a suit. Hearing, your head has fallen off." Davis answered, saying, "I'd take your head right off your shoulders, buddy." Instead of being silent, Hearn retaliated against Tank. In a recent interview, Davis expressed frustration with the situation and thanked Hearn for dismissing his tweet that called him an idiot. He also criticized Davis for not standing by his statements, pointing out that Davis deleted his tweets after making the controversial remarks. He suggested that Davis should be more consistent in his public remarks.
Shocked, saddened, disappointed, gutted for Devin, to be honest with you, because he's boxed a guy there who was 3.5 pounds over.
In response to Garcia's negative drug test, Hearn also expressed a mixture of amazement, sadness, and anxiety. He underlined the necessity of a rigorous and impartial process overseen by the New York State Athletic Commission, which is renowned for its exacting protocols. Hearn emphasized that although it was established that Garcia used performance-enhancing drugs during his fight with Devin Haney, Garcia and his team still had the burden of demonstrating how the drugs got there and clearing his name through the proper legal and regulatory channels. Hearn sympathized with Garcia's attorney, Oscar de la Hoya, pointing out the protracted and taxing process that lies ahead if they decide to defend Garcia's case. Hearn emphasized the assumption of guilt in such situations and the significant responsibility it lays on the accused to prove innocence. Hearn discussed how tough these circumstances may be, having been in them himself, and emphasized how they made him feel older because of the extreme strain and attention they brought.
Firstly, you have to acknowledge that, and you have to say, "I've no idea," and then you have to go back over everything you've consumed, batch test all your, he says, "I don't have supplements, I don't have," so, and try and find the reason why.
Moreover, Hearn took issue with Garcia's reaction to the event, especially with the way he handled it in public by downplaying the accusations on Instagram and other social media sites. Hearn recommended Garcia instead concentrate on a thorough investigation of all potential sources of contamination, such as food, drink, and supplements, even though Garcia says he doesn't use them. Lastly, speaking of Garcia, he wasn't serious about how this failed drug test could ruin his career. Hearn also considered the wider implications for the sport and the people involved, especially Devin Haney, whom he felt was unfairly impacted by the circumstances. He expressed a desire for the boxing community to address such issues with the gravity they deserve in order to ensure fairness and integrity in the sport. Garcia's response was a mixture of dismissal and defensiveness. He claimed he didn't even know what Ostarine was, implying his innocence and misinterpreting the circumstances. He also made jokes about his predicament, blaming tequila for any potential positive results and asserting that he would be guilty if it contained steroids. Garcia also made hints about a plot against him, claiming that others were trying to ruin his image and career by portraying his test findings as an assault rather than a valid worry.
But I heard that Devin Haney, he's connected to Victor Conte, who's connected to Vada real close. Victor Conte known to get caught for cheating.
Garcia responded with a tone of incredulity and a casual dismissiveness of the gravity of the accusations. He said that he was being targeted because he upholds moral principles and hinted that his detractors might not have the same noble goals. Garcia suggested that these accusations were directed at him because of his success and public stance on a number of subjects.
Nobody on my team knows how to cheat. We came from nowhere. We don't know how to cheat. Nobody around me has experience.
His story was rife with conspiratorial details, naming people and implying that some had a stake in his downfall or discrediting him. Garcia emphasized his religious beliefs in the final words of his speech, using scripture to support his stance and fortitude in the face of adversity. In general, he responded with defiance, confronting the claims of doping with comedy and contempt. Meanwhile, Devin Haney took Garcia's positive drug test results very seriously and attacked his opponent when he learned of Garcia's drug test failures. In a statement, Haney said, "We recently learned about this situation, and it's unfortunate. Ryan broke positive twice in a row, cheated, and disregarded both the boxing community and the sport." According to an ESPN statement, Haney also posted on his Instagram stories, "I've always supported clean fighting, and this is one instance where Ryan should apologize to the fans because, based on his most recent tweet, he still believes this is a joke. We don't play boxing. Thus, the battle is viewed in a whole other way. Despite the disadvantage, I persisted in fighting and got back up. People lose their lives in our sport. This is no laughing matter." The previous Showtime Sports president, furthermore, Steven Espinosa, shared his thoughts on Garcia's positive P results. Espinosa's feelings toward Ryan, rather than being directed at Garcia directly, Garcia's failing drug test was a source of sadness for the boxing sport. He expressed concern that the event had overshadowed a major bout that was otherwise exciting and momentum-building for the sport.
It's such a really enjoyable fight, and to see that dampened by this news, it doesn't take away everything that happened there, and it certainly doesn't take away from death.
The negative impact of the doping news on boxing's reputation and the depressing effect it had on what was a much-anticipated event in the boxing community were highlighted by ESP. He acknowledged the complexity of the situation, noting that although a sample and additional investigations were pending, the initial findings were disheartening. ESP pointed out that the incident had already cast a shadow over the fight's accomplishments and the positive attention it brought to the sport. ESP Osa stressed the importance of handling such situations with a procedural and thorough approach, emphasizing the necessity for the sport to maintain its integrity and the trust of its fans. When considering the wider ramifications for boxing, Espinosa emphasized the importance of good narratives and highlights in the sport, which were undermined by drug episodes. Instead of passing judgment on Garcia personally, he chose to focus on the implications for boxing as a whole, highlighting the sport's ongoing struggle with doping and its effects on public opinion and overall fan engagement. Espinosa expressed cautious optimism about the situation's resolution, hoping for a just process and a result that might lessen the negative effects on the sport's momentum and reputation. Boxer Leo Santa Cruz also discussed his thoughts on Garcia's failed drug test, although he didn't believe that Devin lost the bout because of the adverse report.
Wasn't the PEDs? If in fact that happened, he was just the better fighter. Is that?
Yeah, no, he was a better fighter right that night. I think Haney felt his punch, so But, you know, maybe sometimes you take vitamins or something that you don't.
Santa Cruz says that the fight's technical qualities had more to do with the result than the use of performance-enhancing substances. Urinates, although he was surprised by the outcome, he stressed that Garcia had shown better fighting abilities that particular evening. Santa Cruz noted that Garcia had sparred with him previously and that he was a strong and capable fighter. He also noted that Garcia used his punches effectively. Santa Cruz, however, pointed out that Haney appeared unprepared for Garcia's right hook, raising the possibility that Haney's training was lacking or that he made a mistake in the ring that caused him to become vulnerable when talking about the piece. If Garcia did use e-cigarettes, Santa Cruz speculated that it may have been accidental and connected to vitamins or supplements that Garcia was unaware contained illegal drugs. Santa Cruz's comments minimized the importance of PEDs in the fight's outcome, emphasizing instead the fighter's performances and overall tactical execution. Santa Cruz thought Garcia was just a stronger fighter that evening, suggesting that talent and perhaps a tactical error on Haney's side, rather than an unfair advantage, were the causes of the outcome. Though Vantage Garcia may have had it, what do you think about Ryan Garcia's positive drug test results? Will this have a major impact on his boxing career? Will he be banned? Will he and Devin Hayes fight again? That's all for now. Please let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like as well as join the channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Please turn on the bell for the most recent alerts so that you never miss out on videos like this one.